What is going on, my pretty babies? You are checking out an all new the RCWR show Sunday night, going into Monday, July 18th, 2021. A very fatigued Lee Sanders here with you guys tonight. A very tired Lee Sanders, a very sleepy Lee Sanders here with you guys. Oh my God, could this pay-per-view have gone any longer? Seriously, I ask you guys, could this pay-per-view have gone any longer? Although I do want to know what you guys had thought about the Slammiversary pay-per-view on top of the Money in the Bank pay-per-view as well. So definitely sound off. I do have a poll for those of you that maybe are kind of just finding your way to the poll. I do have one poll asking you guys about Impact Wrestling Slammiversary, but I definitely want to know from those of you that saw this weekend's WWE Money in the Bank pay-per-view, whether it's live right now or you're going to be checking this out on demand and on the downloads. Let me know what you had thought about Money in the Bank, as I am creating a poll right now about Money in the Bank on our YouTube community tab. You can head over there in about 30 seconds. I'm like literally creating it right now. I think we can keep this simple tonight. I think we can just pretty much do a simple thumbs up and a thumbs down, and boom. Let's just say vote now. All right, so if you head on over to the YouTube's tab, youtube.com/the RCWR show, click on the communities tab, you'll see the poll that's up right now. Let me know what you had thought about the pay-per-view for those of you that have watched it. Very simple. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Don't get any more simpler than that. Thumbs up, thumbs down. So sound off on that. God, if you were to tell me that a pay-per-view from WWE, it's the first major pay-per-view for WWE as well, in front of fans. And again, I got to give mad props to that Texas crowd out there this weekend. Just from Friday Night SmackDown going into Money in the Bank, and no doubt they're still going to be somewhere in the Texas area less than 24 hours from now. Texas has been so white hot. Been a pretty good magical crowd there these past couple of nights. I can't wait to see how everything bleeds into Monday's WWE Raw. Looking forward to it. But if you were to tell me that we would get a pay-per-view that would go pretty much from 7 o'clock until after 11, like damn near about 11:20 p.m. on the East Coast, I would say to you, man, I hope there was a fun bunch of magical, cool-ass, kick-ass moments in there. And, you know, we did, but man, I think many people would have just been okay had it been a case where the pay-per-view was over during the 10 o'clock hour, quite honestly. Look, that main event match between Edge and Roman Reigns, can we all be in agreement? That match for the longest period of time was just in one gear. And it felt like infinity and beyond. Seriously, it felt like infinity and beyond of, okay, when are we going to get to that second gear for this match? When are we going to switch gears? When are we going to go from 1 to 2 and then from 2 to 3? Like what's going on here? It took them a good minute. It really took them a good minute. I got mixed feelings about this pay-per-view as far as good and the bad. I'll sprinkle in some of the bad right now, and then we can go a little bit more into some other things I thought was kind of bad as we talk about the pay-per-view. But off the break, the number one thing that stands out to me in my mind the most is the fact that, and this is definitely going to hurt the overall execution of when I get ready to rate this pay-per-view overall, but the constant lagging, freezing issues that we had experienced today on Peacock trying to check out this pay-per-view. Very irritating. I remember when 7 p.m. on the East Coast rolled around, I actually had checked out the kickoff special. The kickoff special, there was actually just a small handful of times during that 1 hour I found myself backing out of it and then going back in, because the picture quality would get very piss poor. I mean, it would get 240p as far as the resolution there. It would go 240p, and you're like, well, what the hell is going on here? And then there would be some glitches, a little bit here and there, a little bit of freezing. So I found myself backing out and going back in, and that seemed to correct the problem. But I found myself doing that a couple of times during the kickoff special. But it seemed once we got into the actual pay-per-view, okay, yeah, all right, we're good to go. But man, looking at the card right now, just from my mental timestamp, it seems that once we were done with Charlotte Flair taking on Rhea Ripley, my God, there was about at least 20, maybe 25 minutes there where the stream was just lagging like a mofo. Now, I know some of you guys are like, a little lag, there's no, but what we North Americans were experiencing with the WWE on Peacock, what we were experiencing was on top of the lag, constant freezing was going on. So every single word that was coming out of a person's mouth, for example, just as I'm talking right now, just imagine if somebody just kept hitting the pause and you were trying to speak. It was like that. It was just bonkers crazy like that. Very irritating. And it got to a point, me and the wifey, we were enjoying the pay-per-view and everything, and it just got to a point, okay, you know what, this is getting fucking utterly ridiculous. The one time we need to hear from our friends outside of North America and get the hookup from them, because if you are living outside of North America, you can still access the WWE Network on its own app and everything. But if you're in North America, if you try to launch that WWE app, nothing happens. They pretty much redirect you to basically checking it out on Peacock and everything. So the fact that went on for about 20 to 25 minutes was utter fucking ridiculous, which brings me to this point. Let's be honest, can we? Since WWE has done this partnership with NBC Universal and everything, I am telling you, I don't know for the love of me what it is, but it seems that their on-demand library, sure, no problem whatsoever. You want to watch some episodes of The Office or whatever you could find your hands on, okay, cool, no problem. No problem whatsoever. But every single time when it comes to a WWE live pay-per-view event, every time, there always seems to be an issue. But I've never seen it at the magnitude of what we got tonight. This was probably the worst that us Peacock fans had experienced. I heard from a couple of people, hey, this is why I was done with Peacock after WrestleMania. I just didn't want to have anything to do with it, and I didn't care for it. I'm good. I totally understand that. But yeah, it was so bad, I actually ended up checking out even though I have WWE Network, have been a paying subscriber for all these months now, even at present, I said, fuck this. I actually had to go on the black market there, and I actually had to go about getting a link from overseas so I could check out the pay-per-view and everything. And that was pretty much like the case for everybody else, or just keep going back in. Hopefully the app will correct itself. Finally, though, after about 20, 25 minutes, WWE, actually it was a little bit longer than that, because that issue went on for about 20, 25 minutes. And I remember I was actually watching the link I have found elsewhere, and I was watching that for about maybe 15 minutes. And then WWE put out a statement saying that the issues with the Peacock, it had been corrected. And they said, hey, most people, they'll probably just have to back out and then go back in. You should be good to go. Or maybe you have to restart the app. But we got to get this shit down, though. It was instances like what I had experienced, and I'm sure many other fans had experienced tonight with the WWE on Peacock. Man, really missed it when the WWE Network was just by itself. And I got to be honest with you, when the announcement was first made about WWE, NBC, Universal doing this whole partnership, and the WWE network was pretty much going to be going to Peacock, a lot of us were really on the fence about it. All of us looked at this and said, well, wait a minute, is this really necessary? Why are we going in this direction? Because honestly, the WWE network, for what it's worth, it is just fine on its own. Why do we need to have this be migrated with this thing over here? Like, what the hell? And then for some people, they decided, okay, well, you know what? All right, same value, same price that I'm somewhat paying on a monthly basis. Well, at least I'll be able to check that out, and I'll be able to check out all of this bonus content as a result. But, not for nothing, you've got other people that just go, look, I access the WWE because I just want to be able to access XYZ. I don't care for all this extra shit. I don't care for The Office. I don't care for insert 30 Rock from the Sun. I don't care for insert whatever you want to insert. But a lot of people were on the fence about this and everything. But, I think it would have been better received, the WWE Network on Peacock, if everything just the interface, everything, navigation, if everything was just as smooth and crisp as it was, and the programming coming out in the timely manner that is supposed to be released, if everything was just as smooth like it was prior to what was going on with Peacock. Off the break, you don't get the live pause feature when you're checking out a pay-per-view, or maybe you're checking out the live premiere of an episode of Broken Skull Sessions, because sometimes they like to have those premiere immediately after a pay-per-view or whatever. So it's been a work in progress, and it just really kind of leaves you to the impression that, and make no mistake about it, I really don't think that WWE, whoever the team is that's behind working on the network division, on Peacock, I really don't think that anybody WWE related is at fault for this. I think when you really, really get down to it, it's a safe bet. But I just kind of knowing a little something about app developments and all of that shit, I just kind of personally feel 2 cents from a distance that the people that are in charge of overseeing the Peacock app and the interface, everything interacting with WWE and its layout, I just have a feeling that they took on a lot more, and what they were expecting far exceeded those expectations, and it's pretty much trial and error what's going on here. But goddamn, you would think that by now, because how long has Peacock been doing this thing with WWE now? I mean, it's been a couple of months now. Yeah, you would think that, okay, we're good to go now. We should have this fine-tuned. So that's probably the biggest negative I would have to say in regards to the Money in the Bank experience overall. Putting that to the side, like I said, we'll talk about some more little negatives in a hot minute. Your kickoff, we did get a pre-show matchup. Usos, Jimmy Uso, defeating Rey and Dominic Mysterio to become the new SmackDown Tag Team Champions. 11 minutes, 25 seconds. I was watching this pay-per-view, this kickoff, with everybody else, not just on social media, but, as always, I'm usually hanging out in the Discords. I'm chatting it up with folks. And there was just a overwhelming when we saw this go down. Look, great tag match. Definitely a great tag match. It was awesome seeing Dominic Mysterio be so well received. I loved it. I loved seeing him be so well received out there. Great fucking reaction for him. Great reaction for both of them. Usos as well. They had got a lot of love. A lot of fucking love. Great back and forth. Great back and forth tag team matchup. No problem with it whatsoever. But man, just to see that the Usos went over in this one, all you could do is just let out this big old sigh. And I really want for people to understand, because we've got a lot of people that's saying, oh, what did you guys expect? What did you think was going to happen with Jimmy Uso? Like, come on, man. History has shown. Blah, 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 blah. What did you think was going to happen? And it's not, you got this big misconception that's floating around out there that people are surprised. No, 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 no. People are not surprised. Don't take my word for it. All you got to do is go on WWE's Twitter account and look at the timestamp there and I can actually, because I took a couple of screenshots, and if you bear with me a second, I can tell you exactly the timestamp so it can help you guys out better and you can find exactly what I'm talking about. Look at the timestamp for when WWE on its own official account made the announcement Usos were the new tag champions. July 18th at 7:50 p.m. Look at that post and read that thread. Yeah, you got a couple of people that's happy and everything, but man, out of 100%, at least 90, I would say 85 to 90% of the comments that's coming in, everybody is going, hey, tell Jimmy not to drink and drive. Wow, so this is how we reward bad behavior, huh? What the fuck? And I mean, it's just a constant. So I won't say that people were shocked by the fact that Usos became the tag champions. In this rare particular case, people were disappointed. And they were overall disappointed by the message that essentially is somewhat being put out there, which is, hey, you got these problems. It's okay. You got a little bit of a mean streak in you. You're a little bit of a bad boy. Hey, it's all good. Bad behavior is going to continue to be rewarded here. There's not going to be any type of self-accountability being dished out whatsoever. Yeah, it's all good. We're just going to look the other way. You heard that running gag for the Dallas Cowboys that, usually Jerry Jones, he always gets he always gets the bad ones. He always gets the most difficult ones because his whole thing is, hey, as long as they can get me a W on the Sunday, that's all I really care about at the end of the day. As long as they can give me the W, I'll pay them whatever. I'm trying to get me another Super Bowl. All right. So, you can almost kind of say WWE is kind of like the Jerry Jones. It's like, nah, we don't care, right? So it's interesting because you've got people that legit feel, anytime you got fans that are feeling this way about a company, it's not a good sign. You've got those that are looking at the Usos winning this championship, and let's make sure, for the record, let's make sure 100% here. Let's be 100% here. No shade being thrown at fucking Jey Uso. No shade at Jey Uso whatsoever. Unfortunately, this is a case right here where, poor fucking Jey Uso, by association, man. By freaking association. Guilt by association. Right? But Jimmy Uso, this is a case right here where you have some fans that feel, okay, because of who Jimmy Uso is, his bloodline, who all he freaking connects to, WWE, as much as they maybe want to, they ain't trying to rock that boat because it could have serious domino effects. They don't want to go down that path. They don't want to upset it. That's the majority of the fans, right? But it's broken in half. So that's one half of a majority. But then you have another half of a majority of fans that are saying, okay, you know what, man, you know exactly what the deal is with this, because the Usos, man, they making mad money for WWE. They're one of the cash cows for the WWE. There's just no way they're gonna fuck with that. Return of live events and all, like, they need them now more than ever, especially with this important story arc that's going on. Nah, man, they not going to even fuck with that. So you got those fans that feel that way. that legit feel that way. So, when you look at that, and then it's like, wow, well, is there something in the middle that maybe we could find as a fan? Like, okay, because of the bloodlines, and okay, so basically you're saying if it wasn't for the bloodline there, who all he's connected to, that he probably would have been let go a long time ago. Is that maybe what you're kind of saying here? Okay. And then you got the other side that feel exactly how they feel. So it's a pretty, it's, you understand what I'm saying? It's a pretty messed up position to be in as a fan, if you're looking at it and, you feel that way. And it's like what I had said earlier after this had all panned out and everything. I said, look, oh, and you have a small, for the record, you do have a small number of fans between those two. If you were to try to somehow look at something in the middle, you do have small groups of fans that feel, look, man, Jimmy's okay. He's just a little bit of a bad boy. He's got a little bit of a mean streak in him. He likes playing it a little bit dangerous sometimes. His drinking problems, it's not as bad as people are making it out to be. He's just a bonehead that keeps putting himself in some pretty bad positions. Let him be. It's really no big. There's nothing to see here, people. Keep it moving along. That's the small. So you got 3 different ways you can look at this, right? Look, when it's all said and done, honestly, I just hope, and it was so weird because I've been very consistent with this, and I would have to say that tonight was the very first time I had came across somebody that that kind of had a unique perspective about this. And the way I've been just right down the middle here about this, okay, look, if WWE wants to continue to roll here with Jimmy, all right, hey, cool. Hopefully they've talked to him and all of that. But when you're looking at these DUIs that keep tallying up, and when it's all said and done, as far as self-accountability goes, holding yourself accountable for your actions, you are responsible for your actions from the moment that you wake up and you head out that door, and you got to be interacting with random different people. Like, you are responsible for your own actions, just as I and you are responsible for our own respected actions the minute we leave out the door and we're interacting with the general public there, right? I definitely want to do my part and make sure that I get home safe to my loved ones, just as you want to do the same as well. I just hope that we never get to a situation where Jimmy continues here. I mean, call me old-fashioned, but if I mess with something a couple of times and it keeps putting me in a really bad, fucked up position, yeah, you know what? After about the second or third time, I'm going to be like, okay, you know what? Brother just needs to chill out of that. Brother just needs to be done with that. And yeah, you know what? Peace out on that. I'm going to be done with that. Peace out. But man, I just hope that a situation does not occur where a life is lost. Or somebody gets severely injured. Somebody gets crippled as a result of Jimmy Uso's actions. Because then you want to talk about somebody being under a microscope. The scrutiny that would come as a result, especially for WWE. They would be under great scrutiny as well. And it was interesting because one person had commented and they said something along the lines of, oh, your perspective about this is totally wrong. All due respect, you're totally wrong about this. And it's like, yo, until you've walked in my shoes, don't fucking try to tell me anything about that. Because, for me, twice, I've been at the tail end, whether directly or indirectly, of somebody that potentially has a little bit of a drinking problem or has a poor mindset when they drink. And man, the consequences that has happened as a result of them getting behind the wheel and drive. The stories I could tell you guys, but we don't need to do that right here. But usually, you always have that one friend, that one family member, that one coworker that knows what it's like to deal with somebody that potentially has some type of a drinking problem, uses bad judgment, and always drink and drive. The combination just, there's a reason why they teach you what they teach you when you're in driving school. They don't just teach you that just for the fucking hell of it. You feel where I'm coming from? But I digress. Great tag match. But man, the finish, and when you really stop and think about it, marinate on this for a little bit. Not for nothing, but Rey and Dominic Mysterio were the SmackDown Tag Champions for only 63 days. Only 63 days. They got the titles back in April. So they were barely starting to scratch the surface there of their tag team championship run. And yet we just screeching halt right here. I don't know. But, based off what we saw tonight, who knows? Maybe, just maybe, rematch at SummerSlam. Father and son get the tag titles right back. Maybe that's what, maybe these titles are being used to essentially just further a storyline and try to get the Mysterios to a certain point. I mean, your guess is as good as mine. That was the only match on the kickoff show, by the way. Only match. Let's talk about the actual pay-per-view itself. Money in the Bank ladder match for women's championship match contract. 15 minutes, 45 seconds. Nikki Ash, Asuka, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, Zelina Vega, Natalya, Tamina. Hey, man, overall, as far as reactions for the entire night, man, you want to talk about as far as who had the weakest reactions for the actual pay-per-view. Gotta tell you, man, bit mixed. I'm talking about as far as coming out to their theme, going into the ring and all of that. Mixed reactions for Nikki Ash. Alexa Bliss was mediocrely received, I would say. I would say. Liv Morgan, a surprising nice little pop. I kind of say that really kind of surprised me there. Zelina Vega, nice pop. Definitely a nice pop. Natty, Tamina, no pop. Nothing. Crickets almost. I was really taken back, but especially for Tamina, think about that for a second. Tamina. Kind of crazy right there. Very crazy. Biggest pops of the night. Well, for sure, what went down after that main event match for the Universal Championship, hands down. Edge, Roman, I would say in that order. I would definitely, I'm just thinking everybody else here that at least stands out in my mind. Kofi for sure. AJ Styles for sure. Biggie for sure. I think that's pretty much it. Pretty much in that order of things. Nikki Ash becoming your Money in the Bank winner. Yo, didn't see this one coming. Did not see this one coming whatsoever. Fucking hilarious. I don't exactly agree with the finish though. Really, I don't exactly agree with the finish. Can I say one thing about this women's Money in the Bank ladder match? Pretty well grounded of a match when you really stop and think about it, because I like how whoever was doing the booking for this matchup, I got to commend them, because the way that they had this match be laid out, you're wondering to yourself, how are we going to make this match be totally unique and not overshadow what's going to be happening with the men's Money in the Bank? How are we gonna carve our own unique identity here in this women's Money in the Bank match compared to what the men are going to be doing later on? We don't want to do too much in this women's ladder match, but at the same time, we want to make it look pretty damn good, as good as the men's as well. So whoever was laying out these matches, but particularly the two Money in the Bank ladder matches, I got to give them props because for me, the women's Money in the Bank ladder match felt more grounded, and they tried not to rely too heavily on spots, because you just kind of felt to yourself, okay, wow, so we're pretty much beginning Money in the Bank. We're setting the tone with the women's Money in the Bank. Okay, so yeah, so obviously the men's, that's probably going to be much later in the card. Okay, all right, cool. And you just knew going into that men's, looking at the names involved, particularly Ricochet, Morrison, Nakamura, Rollins, you're going, oh, there's going to be some spots. There's definitely going to be some spots in there. So women's ladder match, very, grounded. You had a couple of spots, but nothing that was too over the top. Man, that was, a crazy freaking moment right there and everything. One spot that was pretty badass, by the way, that I had totally dug. I loved when, I believe it was Liv Morgan and Zelina Vega. I love when Tamina had them in the corner and she was just doing her thing, getting the boos too. Natty and Tamina were getting mad fucking boos. As far as who that Texas crowd had wanted, that Texas crowd, they did not care for Tamina or Natty. They definitely, Naomi, I can't believe I almost blanked out on Naomi. When Naomi came out, she got a pretty damn good, nice pop as well. And she received a lot of love throughout the night for this Money in the Bank. I definitely got a home in. Naomi, out of everybody that was involved in this match, really seemed like the crowd there was in favor of Naomi, Liv Morgan, somewhat maybe Alexa Bliss. Speaking of Alexa Bliss, we were all kind of wondering, okay, once we get Alexa Bliss out there in front of the fans, and to AD in the chat, I do interact with the people in the chat. I do. What would you like me to do right now, AD? Would you like me to just take a moment and pause and I don't know. Kofi Kingston fan, Big E did, man, Kofi and Woods are proud. Stephen Harris, my pick was Big E, win Money in the Bank. EJ Castle, what's up? EJ Castle, the lag on Peacock was crazy. Indeed, it was definitely crazy. AD, I had to use my phone. Peace K on TV was crazy. Laggy for me. Steven, WWE late. Rhea Ripley lose that WWE championship to Charlotte Flair. Nikki Cross need to hold on to that briefcase till SummerSlam. Yes, I do see any and everything that's coming about with your chats as it's coming in. I'm trying to do my best to, for those that didn't watch the pay-per-view, definitely get them caught up to speed. But I am looking at the chats. I am looking at what you guys are saying. For me, it's just a case of if you bring up a very interesting point on a particular topic that I'm talking about, like sometimes, for example, let's say I had went heavy just now about that pre-show matchup with the Usos and all that. And for example, not picking on Steven, but Steven's a sweetheart. He's a long-time listener. Steven could maybe, while I was still in that topic, he could maybe say something that's very relatable to that. And it makes me circle back while I'm still talking about it. And yeah, to the point that Steven made, blah, 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 blah. So the show, it's not a case where I'm pausing every single second that somebody is posting a comment in the chat. That's not how this show works. It's not how this show works. Again, so as we go along, you got something that's kind of relatable and I can just easily, I will definitely, and longtime listeners will tell you, I do my best to try to show people love that's commenting in the chat and everything. At the same time, when we do post shows like this, we also open up the phone lines so that anybody that maybe wants to call into the show and sound off about what went down with the pay-per-view, they want to let their voices be heard, they can definitely let their voices be heard. So we were talking about the women's match. Naomi received a pretty damn good pop. As far as that Texas crowd, the way they were kind of vibing out there, you know, it really felt like they wanted for Naomi, Liv Morgan to win. There was also some love there for Alexa Bliss as well, which, by the way, you know, to the point, Alexa Bliss, you know, that was interesting because, all right, remember what I was saying off and on these past couple of weeks? It's going to be interesting to see how they go about tweaking the Alexa Bliss character in front of live fans here, because some of the stuff that was being done, you know, pre-produced stuff, pre-packaged stuff, not really going to be able to rely on that so heavily going forward. So what are they going to do here? And, you know, we kind of got a little bit of a taste of that tonight, because I liked how early on you got Alexa Bliss that's just standing at the top of the turnbuckle looking at all the women that's coming in, and she's just standing there with this mundane look on her face. And once the bell rings and all the girls, they're going at it, action is just brawling all outside the ring and everything, Alexa Bliss is just looking around. She's got no opponent. And some of the women, they actually push in a ladder or two. She's like, okay, cool, a ladder. And she's helping herself. And then I guess what she was starting to do was maybe, I guess, use her telepathic powers or whatever. I guess she was trying to have the Money in the Bank briefcase drop in her hands just like that. I don't know what the hell that was about. But, you know, it got interrupted, right? It got interrupted. So, and leave it to the awesome timing of Pat McAfee to get on top of that and ask Michael Cole, you know, what exactly was Alexa Bliss looking for there? You know, in your 25 years here in the WWE, like, you know, what's going on with that there? And Michael Cole's like, I've never seen anything like that before. Yo, what you asking me for? And Pat McAfee's like, yeah, but I mean, just saying, you've seen everything here. Like, I'm just saying. So that was kind of funny. Shout out to Pat McAfee and Michael Cole, by the way. All the guys did good. Commentating team, everybody did good. Pat McAfee, you know, the one thing that I love so much about Pat McAfee, besides his energy, he is totally, as that fan, he is totally invested in everything that he's seeing that's playing out. If you pay attention enough as the matches are happening on SmackDown, definitely at these past handful of pay-per-views, you always see Pat McAfee standing. He's actually looking at the ring. He's seeing everything that's going on, and you just read his body language. He is legit excited when he is sitting down next to Michael Cole. Seldom you see him looking at his monitor. He is legit he's looking at the action and he's calling the spots as he's seeing them and all that. Awesome. I just love it. And at the same time, it's rolling off. Just that whole charismatic energy and all that. It's rolling off, and it's paying big dividends to Michael Cole. It's making him up his game up even more and everything. Good fucking shit. Hilarious how the finish of this women's Money in the Bank match came about, because you got all the women. Yeah, and I did not see this finish coming, and I don't think a lot of people saw this finish coming as well. You had all the women pretty much set up the ladders. You know, 3 ladders or 4 ladders, whatever it was. And, you know, you got 2 on each side, and they're pretty much all just brawling. And you've got Nikki Ash that just pretty much, she was taken out of the game at one point. She just pretty much comes out of nowhere. And it's just pretty much climbing up the ladder. Hey, how you doing? Hey, don't mind me. I thought for sure we were getting ready to see at the same time some type of a trifecta superplex that was going to be coming from the freaking top of the ladders. You know, all the girls go crashing down, and then it's like, okay, so, you know, who's going to recover from this spot? I thought for sure that's what we were about to get, but no, Nikki Ash. By the way, you notice that tonight in regards to Nikki Ash? Notice that with Nikki Ash, what they did with her name tonight? they made sure to announce her as almost a superhero, Nikki ASH. This was the first time that they have ever announced her as that. As for the past several weeks, they've been saying Nikki Ash. And when it's all said and done, look, it sounds too close to ass. It sounds too close to ass when it's all said and done. I strongly believe that's the main reason why they went on ahead and they changed it. I honestly do. I'm okay with that. You ask me personally, I preferred Nikki Ash, but we're now going to go Nikki ASH. Almost a superhero. Nikki ASH. Okay, we're going to go in that direction. Whatever, man. Whatever. It's cool. But yeah, she just climbs over everybody, grabs the Money in the Bank briefcase, and she's your winner. Did not see that coming. Thought for sure that Alexa Bliss was actually going to get that. I thought for sure. Would have made all the sense in the world. You guys remember when we were offering match predictions on the RCWR show, the Friday edition? You know, I said, hey, and remember how I broke it down? I tried to look very close at, okay, which one of these guys would be pretty damn good bouncing around TV show to TV show and pretty much be eyeing that respected champion and kind of put the nice little teaser out there that maybe this is the matchup that could be somewhere down the line pretty soon. But Nikki is the one. Can I just say from the heart, and I sincerely fucking mean this. First of all, I don't like the finish. I think we can all be in agreement. The finish to that, rather fucking silly. Really, really fucking silly. And just out of nowhere, for that matter. Because the way that finish just came about, it was pretty premature. But putting that to the side, if there was ever a wrestling fan out there that was ever a big fan of Nikki Cross, you can't help but feel good for this woman and the moment that she had here tonight. Because there have been so many of us fans of hers from when she was doing her thing on the independent circuit, going into the WWE, going back to the WWE, 5 years ago, basically, like 2016 is when she joined. She was doing her thing, Insanity and all that. I mean, we've seen a lot of rough spots there with Nikki Cross, and we wondered if WWE saw what we saw and if they would ever pull that trigger and have her rise to the ranks that we felt, she just needs an opportunity. She just needs good, strong backing. Now, the sucker in me, for me, it sucks that she had to go this superhero route. But as we talked about, because I don't think it was needed, but as we talked about a couple of weeks ago on the show, I told you guys why, just from a PR marketing standpoint, why this was a solid move to do. And I'm with it. I'm totally with it. You just can't help but be smiling and be feeling proud, be feeling nothing but happy for Nikki Cross and everything that has transpired with her since she's been in the WWE. I mean, there's been some low points. There's been definitely points where, we would see her on TV for one match and then we wouldn't see her again for, 3 months or whatever. You just turn on your damn TV one day and there's Nikki Cross. She's a damn lumberjack. No announcement, none like that whatsoever. You just would have had to been panning out, seeing who all was around the freaking ring to, oh, hey, Nikki, well, what's going on there? Or you see some backstage segment and Nikki's playing cards with somebody, but they're not the focal point. The focal point is actually on this wrestler that's getting ready to have some match coming up next. So, see everything that's been going on with her and checking out these interviews that she's been giving of this Nikki Ash character, what inspired her to come up with this gimmick, and pitching it to the folks, getting that support. And make no mistake about it, and I really hope a lot of people know this by now, but this character, this superhero that you're seeing, this is from her own mind. This is 100% all her, all her. So I don't want people to go, oh man, what are they doing with Nikki? This is kind of, stupid. What the fuck, WWE? This is her own doing. This is something that she felt very passionate about, still feels very passionate about. This is what she pitched. And this is, I think honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a part of her some months back that just took a step back and said, what am I missing? What am I missing here that will definitely get me to connect more with the WWE fan base? Definitely put me in a position where I can get more camera TV time. Will definitely put me in a position where maybe I can have some pretty good feud somewhere down the road and everything. I wouldn't be surprised if it's one of those. How many times have we not done that for ourselves in our own respective businesses that we're in? What can we do to make this better? How can we get further ahead? So definitely from the creativity standpoint and all that, I mean, so far everything just seems to be solid with her. So total 180. I did not expect this to happen. I thought for sure it was going to be Alexa Bliss. I even thought Liv Morgan was maybe gonna get it. I even thought maybe Naomi. There was a part of me that was thinking maybe even Naomi might freaking get this. So for Nikki Ash, the dark horse, the Dark Knight there, to just pretty much come out of nowhere and pick it up, pretty damn good. And I gotta tell you, after tonight, I'm more than convinced that in regards to Liv Morgan, I'm starting to come around on that little cute blonde Jezebel. I am. I think I'm starting to see something there as far as a character and all that goes. So, we still got to do more of a flushing out period there. But, she's definitely, let me put it this way. I'm now paying attention. And when you got me paying attention, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. AJ Styles, Omos, successfully retaining the Raw Tag Team Championships over the Viking Raiders, Eric and Ivar. Pinfall, 12 minutes, 55 seconds. For me, hey, by the way, AJ Styles, great pop that he got from the crowd. Phenomenal. I mean, there was a lot of chants going on there for AJ Styles. That Texas crowd loved them, some AJ Styles. It was funny because they didn't particularly care for the Viking Raiders. They really didn't particularly care for them. They tolerated Omos early on, but for them, it was just, hey, it's AJ. It's fucking AJ. It's all about AJ. But man, I tell you what, my biggest takeaway from this match, the performance of Omos. He's getting better. As I brought up several weeks ago, his footwork game, it's got to improve. And I told you guys about that. I said his footwork, pay attention to his feet. Pay attention to him, when he's moving about in the ring. Don't focus so much on the upper half. Focus more on those legs and the feet. And the way he moves, it's almost as if he's got cinder blocks for shoes. I mean, he's a little bit clunky and he's a little bit slow as far as his footwork goes and everything. But I said to you guys, what I'm seeing of this guy so far, very promising for a big man. Very promising. And for me, Omos, to date. Now, there's no telling where he could be by December. But to date, since we've seen him on WWE programming, this was his best, strongest performance. I mean, he went out there and he looked like a fucking beast. I love this. It's cool because when I look at Omos, he's reminding me so much of, a little bit of Shaquille O'Neal there, and not because he's got a bald head and he's black, but he's got a little bit of Shaquille O'Neal as far as the in-ring ability. Just what we've seen from Shaq so far. I think you guys can agree to that. He's got a little bit of Shaq, but at the same time, he's got a little bit of Big Show. He's got a little bit of, yeah, I'll go there. I'll go there. He's got a tiny little bit of Andre the Giant. I would have to say. He's got a little bit of, I almost want a little bit of Kane. Just a little bit of Kane. He's got a weird crossbreed that's going on about him that I find very intriguing. And the way he's been piecing it all together so far, he's coming along. He is still, make no mistake about it though, Omos is still very green. Very, very green. There's definitely no denying that. But what you're seeing of him so far, the man is definitely coming along. You know, he keeps at it, especially now that WWE's got the live fans back in attendance and everything. There's just no telling, because that repetition, man, like when you got all those multiple dates that just keep, you feel me? Man, there's no telling. Just imagine, like, if he is where he is right now in July, just imagine where the brother can be come December. Just imagine where he could be maybe next year. You know, it's the same time next year. So, I mean, he had a very good, strong, dominating performance. I love the fact that Viking Raiders at one point, they decided, you know, like the psychology, like, okay, we got a tag team on this dude because this guy, he's pretty much owning our asses one-on-one. So you know what? We need to just stay tag teaming on his ass. We need to neutralize AJ. And once we're able to neutralize AJ, then we can just focus on the big man, chomp his ass down to size, get him down to our level, and then we just keep going back and forth, rock that dome. And that, the way the match was laid out, loved it. I love the storytelling that was laid out. I mean, yeah, you got your typical AJ Styles, hey, I'm going to tag in the big guy, and the big guy is going to fucking, you know, he's going to carry the load here. He's pretty much going to wipe my sweat for me here. I'm not going to even bother with you guys. That's kind of like the AJ that, you know, we usually get, you know, but here in this case, up to this point so far in Omos's in-ring career, you know, this was one of those rare times where he finally met some really great adversaries in the Viking Raiders. And, you know, you can almost make the argument they kind of pushed him to his limit a little bit. I love that one spot, by the way, where Omos picked up one of the Viking Raiders. I believe it was Ivar. He had picked up from the Viking Raiders, and that was, I mean, he didn't just pick him up. I mean, the way he did it, I mean, it was almost like he was trying to do a bench press, but then he just goes, fuck it, and he just drops Ivar, as Ivar just collapses right on his freaking chest and stomach and all that. Sweet ass spot, but I mean, just the strength that guy, just the brute strength. See a lot of good things happening for that young brother, but you know, right now, if there's just one thing I'm really homing in on, you know, because I gotta look at it from both sides here. I gotta give the praise, but I also gotta give the constructive criticism as well. The only things that I see right now that Omos seriously needs to work on, the footwork. He's got to work on the footwork a little bit better. I don't know if maybe doing as something as simple as taking, you know, it used to work for me back in the day, especially when I was trying to learn how to dance and everything, and I had to move my hips and my feet, you know, my legs in a certain way. You know, sometimes taking some dance lessons, you know, that can kind of help you out, put some flex in there, or, you know, do something as simple as taking, you know, long ass shoestring, putting it around your ankles there, and, you know, pretty much work on your footwork that way. He's got to work on that. And then also something that he's gotten a little better, but he's still pretty clunky about it. He's got to work on those spots when it comes to him selling. So, for example, one spot went down in the match where one of the Raiders, if not both, they did a clothesline. Well, here's the problem. When they did that clothesline, it should have been clothesline connect, Ivar goes over the rope instantly. And instead, it was a case where clothesline, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi. Then you have Omos. Let me get on out of here. It's kind of one of those type of deals. So, and I think all of that again connects to the footwork. I think once he's got that footwork now, look, not for nothing, to defend him a little bit, you try being that same fucking height as Omos, and you're expected when you get a clothesline to fucking, right? Practice makes perfect, right? But good tag match. Good tag match. It was kind of badass seeing the crowd actually warm up to the Viking Raiders, by the way, because at first, like, they weren't into this. All they cared about was AJ. They tolerated Omos, but they did not care for this match. But then, after a few minutes, I would say probably like after about 5 minutes, crowd started getting into it because these guys were actually putting on pretty damn good show. So pretty cool, especially given the fact that, Raiders came back within recent weeks, and, not for nothing, but what's been happening with AJ and Omos so far, just kind of out of thin air. It's been pretty much, weak sauce, but you get to the match itself and you're going, whoa, well, that actually wasn't that bad. It was actually pretty good. We got 5 more matches to talk about. At this point, you guys been with me this far, made it up to this point. Hey, yo, please do me a huge favor. Make sure if you haven't done so already, you go on ahead and you hit that like button. When you do that, that pushes our content out there a lot more for the YouTube algorithm team as far as recommendations and all that. So really, it helps us out a lot as far as the channel recommendations go. One-man band over here, so I'm doing it all, covering it. And if you notice tonight, as usually with like every night, but I've been really on myself a lot more. I'm trying to make sure that when I'm watching whatever I'm watching, my phone or my tablet is down and I'm watching more of the action. So if you notice, I haven't been looking down at anything. I haven't been, all over here. I haven't done any of that. Everything that I'm giving to you guys right now, off the top of my head, the matches are coming to me, but just off the top of my head, real time, I'm just letting you guys know what all I had saw, what all I had experienced, what all I have felt. So hopefully you appreciate that. So AJ Styles, Omos retain over the Viking Raiders. Bobby Lashley taking on Kofi Kingston. The WWE Championship match. Man, oh man. 7 minutes, 35 seconds. This was a massacre. This was a goddamn fucking massacre. We all were making bids in the Discord about this match. And I got the ball rolling. I said, this match is going to be like 3 minutes. 3 minutes tops. Like, seriously. Like, Lashley is going to roast him some Kofi Kingston. He's going to roast him like s'mores at a campfire. 3 minutes tops. Other people were going, no way. No way. More like 12 minutes. 12, almost 15 minutes. Nah. They're going to milk this for all it's worth. Like, what? Man. Kofi Kingston barely got offense in here. And I sincerely mean that. Anybody that had watched this pay-per-view tonight and you homed in on this match and you were very excited for this. Look, not for nothing, I was very excited for this match too. I legit, no bullshit, I was. Two of my favorites. I told you guys, of all the storylines that's been happening in WWE, besides everything that's continued to go down with Roman Reigns and his whole tribal chief thing, I told you guys, hey, what's been happening as of late with Bobby Lashley, the whole New Day, Xavier Woods, and loving it. Love what's going on here. I thought for sure this was going to be, a type of match where Kofi came kind of close, right? He's hungry. He's got that eye of the tiger. He's got that man. I just don't know how many more of these WWE championship opportunities, these world championship opportunities are going to come my way. Look at how long I've been in the WWE. Look at the fact that I'm going to be 40 years of age come August. I'll be 10 years away from 50. Man, I just don't know how many more of these world championship opportunities will come my way. Man, though, would it be so sweet to go into this and prove to the naysayers that what went down with me, short while ago, man, I'm no one-hit wonder. Hard work, dedication, being the ultimate opportunist, yeah, all of that goes into play. Seizing those opportunities. Like, I thought that was the type of, I really thought it was going to go there. I really, really did. Now, I got to be consistent. Because of you guys that had checked out the show, remember, I scrutinized the hell out of Ricky Starks, Brian Cage, and their Fyter Fest match. Remember that. I also scrutinized the hell out of Karrion Kross, Johnny Gargano. Remember? I also scrutinized the hell out of, even though they haven't fought yet, I scrutinized the hell out of the mean stare down there that went out between Raquel Gonzalez and Xia Li. So I gotta be consistent here, right? And I am. But at the same time, just kind of going off of past WWE logic, what we've all seen from over the years, you're going, okay, well, surely, we're not saying it's got to be a damn Broadway match, but surely Kofi's going to go in here and he's going to make it very challenging for Lashley. No. If Kofi got any type of offense in, y'all, it probably went about maybe 10 minutes. No, I wish it was 10 minutes. No, it probably went about a minute. A minute at most. I'd be shocked if it was 2 minutes. And Lashley was just flooring him. Big time. You're going, okay, all right, well, this is pretty much over. Stick a fork in it. Yeah, okay, well. All right, so next match. And yet, the continuous onslaught just kept going with this poor dude. I mean, it was bad. Vicious elbow shots. Hitting the Dominator. I mean, he hit the Dominator on Kofi Kingston at least 3 times. I remember one of those times he did the Dominator. He put the Hurt Lock on and you're going, okay. And I mean, when you're looking at Kofi Kingston, you're going, oh man, this dude is out. This is about to be a referee stoppage. He's not able to respond here. And as you're seeing the onslaught that's happening to Kofi Kingston, you're looking at this and you're going, okay, referee's going to stop this because there's no offense whatsoever coming from Kofi. Kofi is just like this dangling noodle that's just, right? So you're like, it was almost like, I don't know if you guys, and I'm kind of showing my age here, I don't know if you guys remember the little movie franchise Weekend at Bernie's, but pretty much that's what was going on with Lashley. Lashley had him, Mr. Bernie there and just having his way with the damn ragged out, basically, the damn dead corpse. But I remember when he put on the Hurt Lock that first time, I mean, Kofi he looked out of it. Shout out to Kofi. I mean, Kofi sold that ass kicking. Kofi sold the fuck out of that ass kicking. I got to give him mad props for that. And then somehow Lashley just ends up turning that Hurt Lock and, you thought maybe you were seeing some type of a counter from Kofi, but you really weren't because he was still out of it. But instead, Lashley just pretty much turns that Hurt Lock into basically a like a fall away slam, basically put him over his shoulders and pretty much like a fall away slam, basically. And then shortly later, hit that third Dominator, put on the Hurt Lock again. This time the referee finally tries to step in there and everything. Somehow Kofi managed to tap out. Don't ask me how, but somehow Kofi Kingston managed to tap out. Yeah. Brutal fucking beating. I mean, you're looking at this. I love Rocky. I do. Right down to the point. If you go on the website, rcwrshow.com, it was for school, but I edited it in a way where it was much more, less academic. but I recently reviewed the 1976 Rocky movie. I bring up Rocky because seeing what went down with frickin' Kofi Kingston tonight, I'm automatically thinking about Rocky 4. And I'm just going, oh shit, your boy Big E just saw what went down. You know he's watching. He's somewhere in the back. He's watching what went down with his boy there. You know he want to try to get that revenge if possible. You know that's going to be even more icing on the cake for him. That's going to make him even more fired up and determined to go on out there later on in his match and that Money in the Bank joint and win that whole bad boy and try to get some revenge there if he can on Lashley. You know that's what's up. Now, cue up, there's no easy way out from Rocky 4. It's like, seriously, what we saw go down with fucking Kofi Kingston, it was throw the damn towel already. This man is freaking dead. Like, seriously. So, yeah, what a massacre, though. Raw Women's Championship match. Rhea Ripley taking on Charlotte Flair. You know how Rhea Ripley's song, this is my brutality. You know, look, a lot of us, let's be honest, we looked at this feud, we weren't really feeling it. We weren't really feeling this feud on paper. We felt that the women, as far as, you know, in-ring performance goes, no issue whatsoever. But the storyline that's been going on, it's been shit. And for those of us that's followed the career of Rhea Ripley so far, we know that what we've been getting of her as of late, that, you know, it's a pretty poor version compared to what we got of her in NXT. So going into this, you're going, well, it's not exactly a bathroom break, but I'm not exactly excited to see this match either. It's a filler match at this point. And man, oh man, how we felt and how that Texas crowd felt, you could almost make the argument two completely different beasts, because I think the majority of us that felt the way that we felt, and we had our trepidations about this feud, because really it was all about the story arc. Yeah, we feel the way that we felt. But that Texas crowd, look, I got to give that Texas crowd props, because what is it that I have always said on this show for years, especially when it comes particularly to the WWE product? You want to know if something is going over well with a majority of the WWE fans. Let WWE play to those strongest pro wrestling markets. And that'll let them play to one of those major outlets, and that'll tell you all you need to know as far as if you need to do some tweaks or not. Whether it be Florida, DC, Texas, New York, New Jersey, PA, right? California. Like, you really want to know, Chicago, Illinois, you really want to know what's going on. Those major, and I apologize in advance if I left your respected state out, but you get the point that I'm making. You want to know what's going on with a particular story arc. Hey, what's going on with this wrestler? Are they really getting over enough? Let them play out in one of those markets, and you'll have everything you need right there as far as whether or not you need to go about doing some tweaks or not. And the heckling. I mean, at first, when we're getting this, you got somebody that tried to start up a chant, let's go Charlotte, let's go Ripley, and you're kind of seeing that. And then the next thing you know, somebody starts a Becky chant. We want Becky. And in case you don't know, Becky Lynch had shared a photo of herself on social media earlier in the day. And she pretty much was talking about how excited she was for Money in the Bank, seeing everybody do their thing. She particularly was going to be watching the women's match and everything. And then shortly after that women's match was over, she put out some other tweet. She says something along the lines of, I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but something along the lines of, glad I didn't come out, or some weird shit like that. And you're going, huh? So 9 times out of 10, that crowd that was in attendance, a smart crowd, probably on top of the social media, they probably, right, going into it. But man, to hear the "We Want Becky" chants, I just felt it was a bit disrespectful because these girls that went at it for, they went at it for like about almost 17 minutes. The first couple of minutes, they were telling a pretty good story. But the fact that you had the Becky chants being put in there, for me personally, teach its own. For me, I felt it was disrespectful. Yet at the same time, the storyline for these girls has been weak sauce. Without a doubt, it's been weak sauce. I love how WWE, by the way, they tried to black out the screen because they blacked it out at one point because I believe it was the second time when they began the "We Want Becky" chants. Sure, and at this point, they were starting to crank it up. I got to give this match a lot of props because as far as going from gear 1, 2, 3, this match fucking delivered. This match delivered hands down. If I were to really just go back and single out of all the matches here on the card, including the pre-show, my number one right now, my number one would definitely be Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley. My number two would actually be, despite the fact that it went down the way it did, Usos, Mysterios. My number three would be the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. That would be my number three. And probably rounding it off, I would go with the men's Money in the Bank. And then when we're getting down to the bottom of the list, my least favorites, I would definitely put in there Roman, Edge, Lashley, Kofi. I think that's pretty. I wouldn't be surprised if many of us were kind of on that same page if we had a somewhat similar list right there as far as favorite moments, least favorite, or favorite matches, least favorite matches. But that's how I'm kind of looking at it there. But yeah, like the second time when they started doing the "We Want Becky" chants, Charlotte just looked at the crowd and she just started giving the middle finger, and she was just going all around the ring, just giving the middle finger and everything. And I gotta tell you, I like this Charlotte Flair that we got tonight because this was essentially a unhinged Charlotte Flair. This was a Charlotte Flair that was just so driven, so possessed. This was a Charlotte Flair that at one point you see get emotionally hysterical. Some people were going, "Oh, there she go with that crime bullshit." And I'm going, you're missing the whole point of this story and what she is trying to drive out of this character here right now at this particular moment in time. Remember, this is Charlotte Flair. Her last name is Flair, right? She goes in, she is the best at what she does. And yet what is going on with her right now on this very moment against this particular opponent, she's putting all of her best out there on this opponent. And this opponent just keeps coming back for more and more and more. This opponent will not stay down. And what you started happening with fucking Charlotte Flair, she's just going, I mean, she's like, what the fuck do I have to do here? So I didn't mind seeing her acting as if she was crying and she's getting ready to flip the fuck out. I didn't mind seeing any of that because I thought it was adding an even more cooler layer to the story that they had, that they were trying to paint out there together. I thought they did phenomenally well. They made up for such a shit story arc that's been happening these past several weeks. Definitely on the list. Number one, I definitely got to go with this. Now, I know that sounds kind of crazy for you guys to hear, but if you didn't see Money in the Bank, you definitely need to go out of your way and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about with this match. Right down to the point of what I referenced earlier about Charlotte Flair becoming so unhinged and everything. I like how the action towards the end there went outside the ring a little bit, and they were kind of brawling at each other for a little bit. And then somehow Charlotte ends up trapping Ripley's leg between the ring steps and the ring post. And when that happens, I mean, Flair just freaking snaps. It's like, hot damn, I got to open it. Yeah, I got your ass now. And she just starts kicking the hell out of the steel steps. And Ripley is favoring the hell out of that leg. And I mean, she is just screaming. And, it's almost like, oh man, somebody pulled a Tanya Harding on Rhea Ripley here, right? You're seeing this go down and you're wondering to yourself, wait a minute here. Why isn't the ref essentially throwing this match out? Because when it's all said and done, what Charlotte Flair is doing is kind of illegal here, right? And to Jumbo Slice's point, I wonder what made them give it to. We'll kind of circle around on that. We'll circle back on that one in a hot second. I won't be too long-winded with that one because listeners that were with me for the post show so far, they know about the points I had brought up so far. But that's a good question. We'll come back to it. But to see Charlotte Flair just snap like that and just wham, 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 wham. Referee's not throwing the match out. He's just allowing all of this shit to continue. Flair, sensing blood, sensing victory, hurries up back into the ring, locks on the figure eight on Ripley's injured leg to force the submission. Charlotte is your 14-time, if I'm not mistaken, 14-time women's champion. Look, when it's all said and done, I gotta be honest. I can't put all the blame on Rhea Ripley. We all got it. See, this is exactly the point that I had made in the Discord too, after the finish to this match I went about. Because you really can't win either way in regards to this. You can't win either way. Everybody, look, there was a honeymoon period with Rhea Ripley when she came to the Raw side. There was a honeymoon period. People that had followed her in NXT, very excited, wanted to see what was going to be happening with her. Oh, hey, great, new face, yes. Because remember, one of the biggest complaints that was being talked about was, man, look at what's going on with the women's division for WWE here, man. They're hurting. They ain't got no... Remember, there was a point where we didn't have Sasha. We still ain't got Becky, but we didn't have Becky. Charlotte was kind of around, but she was, doing some stuff, here and there. And it was a case where people were being so vocal about, man, what the hell? My whole thing was, yeah, no shit, we got a problem here. They didn't quite build up the fort, right? Next man up. They didn't quite do that. Like the way they do it down in NXT. Next man, next woman up. They do a pretty good job filling in those gaps. Oh, this person got called up. Okay, next up. Like, take that spot. Next up. Like, come on, step up. So to hear Rhea Ripley was going to be coming on over, you're going, oh, all right, this should be good. This is actually going to be good for the women's division, all that. After that honeymoon period was over, we're going, Look, Rhea Ripley, I got nothing but love for her. Nothing but love for her. She's a hell of an athlete, hell of a performer. Make no mistake about it. Long as she's on the main roster, she will be a multi-time women's champion. She will be getting another run as women's champion a lot sooner rather than later. Make no mistake about that whatsoever. For me personally, my 2 cents from a distance, and I could be totally wrong about this, I just feel that with SummerSlam right around the corner, WWE back in full effect in front of the live fans, we have got to go with, and I've told you guys this for years. I've always said to you guys, and you shouldn't need a pandemic to really highlight this. But WWE, this has been their motto for years. When it comes to the off season, basically, when they get around to that March, April, May, June, July, any little bit of experiments that they were thinking about doing, that's usually their time where they do a little bit of experimenting to see, okay, well, what would happen if we maybe toss this person a bone here? Let's see how social media and the fans react to that. Let's see how that plays out. And normally, right as SummerSlam is starting to creep up, WWE's motto is pretty much, okay, you know what? Let's go with what's kind of safe. We're going into SummerSlam. We kind of need to go the safe route here. Let's go here instead. And what's happening with Charlotte Flair right now, in my estimation, WWE's going, okay, we got to sell the fuck out of SummerSlam. So, Charlotte Flair, let's do it. Yeah, there's definitely people that hate Charlotte Flair. Legit. There are people that hate Charlotte Flair. They hate the fact that she keeps winning. They hate that. Look, society doesn't like winners. Newsflash. I mean, I hope you know, society doesn't like multi-time winners. You're talking to somebody that was living in Chicago for the first dynasty run, for the first trifecta of the Bulls. And I can tell you, back then, outside, you might have had Chicagoans, and maybe kind of like the surrounding cities that were happy and everything, and NBA fan purists that could just, man, I just love NBA action in general. Man, I love this guy. I love this guy. Oh, man, he's badass. Oh, yeah, that team is, right? They're universal. But, man, Jordan used to get some hate back in the day. Believe it or not, he used to get some hate, despite the fact that all I do is win, 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 win. Used to get hate. You look at what Tom Brady has been able to do all these years. You don't think? I can only tell you a fraction of stories I've experienced over the years from people that can't stand Tom Brady, right? Society, that's just them, especially in North America. Like, it's like, you always win. We want to see somebody else, right? So you're going to have, no matter how you cut this, on the one hand, you look at this and you say, well, in regards to Rhea Ripley winning, you're like, yeah, but she kind of sucks as a champion, and this feud going, man. But then when you look at it from the Charlotte's, oh man, she's always winning. I can't stand Charlotte. Why they gotta shove Charlotte down our throat? No matter how you cut it, you can't please everybody. So do you try to please everybody, or do you just say fuck it and you just stay your course and try to tell the type of story that you're trying to tell? Me, if you ask me where I think things are possibly going to be going now, I think honestly, I would not be surprised if I see two scenarios possibly going down. One scenario, if WWE is smart too, they will sell that Rhea Ripley joint for a couple of weeks, right? MRI, blah, 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 blah. They'll try to sell that, right? Maybe Rhea Ripley wants to try to get, some type of an opportunity to get a rematch there against Charlotte Flair at SummerSlam. I could see something like that maybe panning out. I could also see a scenario playing out where it could potentially be a triple threat match. That third opponent, it could be Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch returns. First time ever in ring action, SummerSlam. You've kept Becky Lynch off TV this long. Milk it for what it's worth. Bring her back at SummerSlam. I can see a triple threat match between Becky, Charlotte, Rhea for the title. I could also see a scenario where if you just honestly wanted to give Rhea Ripley a little bit of a break, you could do that as well and pretty much just have Becky Lynch come right in there. Becky, Charlotte, boom, let them go at it. So WWE's in a really good position right here. I mean, there's a couple of different angles that this could go. So I tell you what, this Raw that we got coming up in less than 20-something hours, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see where things go. But that's my 2 cents on that. from a distance. That's my 2 cents on that from a distance. Let's keep rocking and roll. I think at this point, yeah, we only got 2 more matches now. So where are we at now? We're at the Money in the Bank ladder match for a World Championship opportunity. The men's side. Big E, Ricochet, John Morrison, Riddle, Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, King Nakamura, Seth Rollins. Big E becoming the new 2021 Mr. Money in the Bank. Dude, I marked out for this. I love this fucking moment. This was badass. You guys have no idea. This was fucking badass. Look, for me personally, remember what I said on Friday's RCWR show when we were going over predictions and all. And by the way, for those of you that might be a little bit curious how I did as far as match predictions go, I'm just looking at this right now to 3, 4. It looks like, well, I don't think, you know what, pre-show doesn't count because I don't remember doing anything for the pre-show. I don't remember saying anything. I'll go back and check, but I don't remember there being a pre-show at the time that we were talking about it, but I could be wrong. But it looks like maybe 4. I got 4 out of 6 right. I got to go back and check. But it looks like it's 4 out of 6 I potentially had got right. Yeah, I said on Friday's show, hey, remember what's going on there with Jinder Mahal and the feud that recently has started up there between Jinder and Drew, and how much of a factor is that going to play into this Money in the Bank ladder match? I told you guys, this Money in the Bank ladder match screams interference. Remember that? Because I also brought up the fact of look at what's been going on with particularly with Kevin Owens and when he stunned the shit out of Sami Zayn. I also said to you guys, because Sami Zayn maybe pop up in here, try to extract a little bit of revenge for being embarrassed on Friday Night SmackDown. And I told you guys, this particular match screams interference. Guaranteed. We got that from Jinder Mahal. And his boys there. I forgot his boys' names, but I called them the Enhanced Bollywood Boys. Oh, they did a nice, good-ass number on Drew McIntyre, taking him out. I gotta tell you, though, when I saw that spot, I'm going, okay, yeah, you know, if we're pretty much going to carry him out like we're carrying out Drew on a crucifix, yeah, I doubt you're going to be coming back. But there was that part of me in the back of my head going, you know, Lee, he could come back and he could very well win this. Well, I'm going, nah. I felt pretty confident that there was just no way he was going to get involved in that. Ricochet, I got to give my man Ricochet mad props. He was doing some crazy spots where he was sacrificing his body big time. He was going through ladders like a mofo. Talk about crash and burn. He's my MVP as far as the spot monkey of the night here, because he was going through some shit. He was going through shit like he was almost a crash test dummy. Straight up. He was going through this like he was a crash test dummy. And for me, it was pretty hilarious. For me, though, I love the one spot where he almost was able to do it in one fluid motion. I love how he pretty much walked the cat. You know, he's on the top rope there. He's walking the cat. And then he immediately just, almost like one nice fluid motion, jumps over to the ladder. And he's, you know, trying to climb up on it and everything. I forgot who he was fighting on that ladder. But then, he's not even on that ladder for 10 seconds. And then he just decides, okay, you know what? It was Riddle. Him and Riddle were on the ladder and they were kind of duking it out. And then Ricochet sees the guys on the outside and he does this nice little cannon crash ball thingamajigger to the guys on the outside. And you got Riddle just settling the fuck out of that with his facial expressions. Awesome. Fucking awesome. Love that spot. That was a great fucking spot. And to AH in the chat, brother, you already said it once. We see it once. You don't need to say it a second time. All right. And I know some of you guys that's going to be watching this on demand and on the downloads, you're going to be like, what is Lee talking about? There's comments that are actually coming in, and let me actually do this for you guys. Let me actually do this so that you guys can see the chats that's coming in. There you go. So you guys will now be able to see the chats that's coming in, because I've been reading the entire threads that's been chats that's been coming in the entire time since we've been on the air here. But yeah, that was a nice sick ass spot. That was pretty badass. I love that spot by Ricochet. Ricochet, my MVP for Spot Monkey of the night. He pretty much did it all and then some, as far as I was concerned. Just thinking about some other stuff that had went down in this match as well. There was a Kevin Owens spot. I didn't know which more was like more vicious. I wasn't sure if the spot there with Ricochet, I wasn't sure if that was crazy, or if the spot there with Kevin Owens going through the steel ladder, I wasn't sure if that was crazy, because I mean, he got straight up bent when he went through a table. I mean, he crashed and burned real hard when he went through a ladder there. I mean, he bent it up and everything. I mean, that was just crazy. Seeing the brief union there between Jomo, John Morrison, and Seth Rollins, I'm going, whoa, didn't see this coming. Both of these guys working together. Like, what the hell here? That was pretty interesting for what it was worth. Very interesting for what it was worth. They lasted for a good minute too, until eventually Seth Rollins turned on John Morrison, trying to get that Money in the Bank contract all to himself and everything. Nakamura, he, from what I remember, he had some good moments. Riddle definitely had his moments. I love when he was delivering RKOs to folks. That made the crowds pop big time there, because essentially Riddle is doing his BIG tour. He's pretty much doing his whole fucking, this is for my boy Randall Orton. I see you, man. See you when I see you, man. Kind of how I was feeling earlier in the night there when Kofi Kingston got massacred. All I was thinking about was Bones Thugs and Harmony Crossroads. See you at the crossroads when you won't be lonely. That's all I got going on in the brain here. But good ladder match for the guys. I think the right guy went over for me. I told you guys from Friday, I felt it was either going to be Big E or it was going to be Riddle. I just was not confident at all that McIntyre was gonna, and as I went over the list, I told you guys, I'm like, no. Main ones I homed in on, Big E, Riddle. That was it between those two. So Big E going over in this one, right move, and it just feels that, kind of going with the storyline here, it's safe to say that Big E is probably going to get in the face of Bobby Lashley. You would hope that WWE milks it for what it's worth. They also have him, because I want to see it. I want to see Big E go to NXT, square up Karrion Kross. I want to see that. Then I want to see Big E go over to SmackDown. I want to see him square up Roman Reigns. I want to see that. Well, I mean, he's already on SmackDown, but you get the point that I'm making. I damn sure want to see Big E go to Raw, and I want to see him square up against Bobby Lashley. But the way it's kind of coming off right now, it feels like Big E, maybe Big E and Lashley at SummerSlam. But then we got to get through this thing called Goldberg. We got to figure out what exactly is going on with Goldberg. I know everybody's got like their, Goldberg. Look, we're hearing the rumors. That's all it is rumors. Guys, take a drink of water. Relax. Let's all watch Monday Night Raw. Let's see what happens. And let's go from there. Can we all agree on that? Let's all agree on that. We disagree on a lot of things, but surely we all can agree on that. Those of us that watch Raw, we can agree, okay, let's watch Raw first this Monday. See what happens. Then we go from there. Fair enough? Fair enough. I don't think I have anything else to add with regards to that men's Money in the Bank ladder match, by the way. 17 minutes, 40 seconds. Main event match. Roman Reigns defending the Universal Championship against Edge. 33 minutes, 10 seconds. God fucking damn. Way too fucking long. I felt myself aging. You know, it's like, hey, you know that movie by M. Night Shyamalan that's getting ready to come out? Maybe it's already out. It's called Old. Hey, yo, you don't need to see that movie in theaters. You could have experienced Old with this one match right here. I mean, fucking Jesus. It was just in one gear. It was in one gear for about 20 minutes. And you're just going, anytime now, guys. You know, anytime we're waiting. You know, some of us got work, school, podcast to do. Anytime you want to crank gears and go to that next level, we're right there. You know, we love to see it. Just pull the trigger. You know, we're waiting. God. You know, the one thing that I thought was just so about this match. We've seen Roman Reigns do the whole choke on this pipe, yo. To Roman. To Jimmy and Jay Uso. He'd probably make Paul Heyman choke on the pipe as well. If Edge can fucking have it his way. He'd probably make Paul Heyman choke on that pipe too. Right? So, you're thinking about that. You're thinking about when Paul Heyman came out on that one episode of SmackDown and he said to him, hey, Tribal Chief, Edge is questioning your manhood. And you see Roman Reigns just get this real pissed off, like he's ready to go break something. Then you got Edge, who's been feeling a particular way, about all of them. Right? Okay, so you would think that, man, there is such great animosity, great hostility going on between these men. Man, I tell you what, we might do our entrances. But yo, when I see your ass once I get in that ring, bell or no bell, I'm whooping that ass. The hell with that, I'm whooping that ass. I'm gonna beat your ass like you stole some lunch money from me. These guys make their grand entrances, all of that. Just think about the storyline. Just think about, for real, think about what all you've been seeing these past couple of weeks. All right, we got the championship. Referees presenting it. Bell rings. And what do these two guys do to kick everything off? Come on. What do these two guys do? Everybody that saw the pay-per-view, what did these two guys do to kick off this match, considering everything we've seen with them these past several weeks? Think about that for a second. Think about when Edge made his triumphant return. Took his little jacket off. Roman Reigns standing, he went in there, he slid in there, and they just wham, 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 wham. What happens, though, when these two guys get in the ring? Bell rings and all. We get a fucking lockup. A fucking lockup. Yo, I damn near clocked out on that one. I said, okay, it's going to be one of these type of matches. And let me tell you what I mean by that. Y'all got to feel me on this. Soon as I saw these two guys locked up, first thing I said to myself, one, okay, so we're going to get a wrestling match. Two, all right, the way this match is probably going to go based on this lockup, these guys are going to be doing the test of strength. They're going to be filling each other out, hold for hold. We're going to see them try to, milk it on each other, milk these holds that they're putting on each other. Yeah, there might be a little shoulder tackle here or there, yada, 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 yada. That's exactly how it's going to play out. Edge may be able to do something to Roman, and the crowd's going to be like, ooh! And then Roman's going to maybe do something, and the crowd's going to be like, boo! And there's going to be a little bit of more back and forth. Oh, look at that headlock. Okay, a little bit of a headlock. Up, into the ropes. Over the ropes. Into the ropes. Up, clothesline. Woo! And it literally played out exactly how I thought this match was going to play out. And again, they pretty much were just in this gear, this first gear, for like almost at least 15 to 20 minutes. I had a serious problem with that. I did not like that shit whatsoever. It was bugging me the fuck out. Okay? Finally, I will say this. Roman Reigns talking mad shit, keep that up. I loved hearing him talk mad shit during this. He had the line of the night in this match. And I was just fucking dead when he said it, because I mean he's literally got a headlock on Edge while they're both laid out on the canvas. And Roman Reigns basically says some shit like, let me try to see if I can pull it up in the Discord, because that shit was hilarious. That shit was hilarious. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick here. Because if I can pull it up, let me see here. And I think I might be able to, hang on. I'm about to, Roman said, and I quote, "I'll lay on this bitch all night long." That, for me, I died in hysterical laughter. Love that fucking spot. Good shit right there. But yeah, it was just in one gear, and then finally, we saw Edge start to, all right, because at one point they were just early on, pretty much to begin, they were trading back and forth. But then Roman just started dominating. And you're going, okay, what's going on here? Because as you were going into this match, you're going, okay, on paper, what's going on with the storylines? This should be fucking solid. But then when you went into this match and you're seeing it play out before your eyes, you're going, okay, this isn't quite matching up to what I was expecting. So the pacing of the in-ring psychology, it dragged on for too long. Especially when Roman was on the offense there. And then once Edge started getting in some offense, hit that, what was it? Did he hit the executioner or something he had hit there? You're going, okay, this is it. This is where we're going to now kind of switch into second gear right here. Okay, now we're picking it up. Crowd kind of seemed like they were starting to get back into it as well. Not for nothing, there were chants for what it was worth. You heard chants for Roman, you heard chants for Edge, but definitely there were a lot of parts where the crowd was kind of, they were trying to do their best, but they were starting to get a little bit out of it. And go figure, because after all, this pay-per-view was pretty damn long. Let's fast forward a little bit. So we continue to pretty much be in that one gear. We did go into the second gear, but then we went back to one. We go back to the second gear when the guys are fighting outside the ring there, and Edge basically sends Roman Reigns crashing through a wall barrier. Okay, cool little spot that we got right there. That was pretty badass. Like, okay, second gear. Okay. Now let's try to string all of this together, WWE. Let's try to go home, because, it's starting to get a little bit late here. Like, let's string it along here. Let's fast forward a little bit more here. So after that, now you got a spot that comes about where the referee gets taken out. You're going, okay, here we go. This is where the shenanigans come into play, right? This is where things are, right? So if I remember it right, after Edge had sent Roman Reigns crashing into the barricade, he somehow managed to get him back in the ring, goes in for the cover. That pretty much was a near fall. A little bit after that, Roman tries to go for the Superman punch, whatever. Referee somehow gets taken out. Usos try to come out, help out Roman. Mysterios are like literally right behind them. They come in, attack the Usos. So they pretty much negate that. They pretty much, you see them, now you don't. Now the focus is still on just Edge, Roman Reigns there. Reigns managed to get to his feet, goes for a spear. But Edge counters with a spear of his own. you're going, okay, well, this may be it right here. Like, Edge probably got this. Edge goes for the cover. Referee still not around. Finally, we get another ref. Tries to go for the count. I believe that at that point, Roman had kicked out. I think something else had happened to that referee, because I heard there were two referees. I think something happened to that second referee, maybe. Not quite sure. My mind's a little bit fuzzy. But you're just going, okay, something's going to happen here. Like, the question is what? What exactly is going to happen here? What's going to go down? Because Edge had got back on the offense. And if I remember it right, I think maybe after Edge might have connected with a spear. I think maybe Edge was trying to go for his trademark crossface there. And then that's when Seth Rollins comes in, just sidekicks the shit out of him. Now, one thing with WWE, we honestly did not need the spot earlier in the night, right after, really after Seth Rollins lost. We didn't need that spot where Seth Rollins was being interviewed and he's pretty much blaming Edge and going, it's his fault. It's his fault that I got put in this position with Money in the Bank. It's his fault I didn't win. No matter what, whoever wins that Universal Championship, I got next, right? I would hate to play against that man. Fucking arcade games, man. Like, you just imagine Seth Rollins just, I got next. And after you beat his ass, I got next. It's like, but you just lost. Like, take your dub and go sit down somewhere. Like, you just lost, right? But man, he came out that joint, and I tell you, we were making fun of him because, in a playful way, because the way we looked at him, he came out like Mr. Grinch. So I kind of got the ball rolling there. I said, you're a mean one, Mr. Lynch. Mr. Lynch, right? Becky Lynch, you get it, right? I know, corny as fuck. Anyway, so Seth Rollins kicks the shit out of Edge. That pretty much sets up Roman Reigns to take the victory there on a silver platter, as he, is triumphant. It's the only reason why, when you look at how the match was laid out, only reason why Roman Reigns had successfully retained the Universal Championship was because he got help from a fellow brother, formerly of the Shield there, and Seth Rollins. So, at this point, you're going, well, yeah, kind of went as I expected, way too long, whatever. And like literally, me at this point, as soon as I see the 3 count, Roman's holding up that championship, I'm literally kissing the wifey. I'm going into the studio and I'm putting the show notes together. And all of a sudden, probably like about maybe 3 minutes later, wifey goes, wow. I go, what? It's Cena. I'm like, huh? It's Cena. I'm like, what? I go, literally run back into the bedroom. And yeah, the fucking music and all that of John Cena had came in. So basically what happened was after Roman, was done whooping that ass, Paul Heyman apparently handed Roman a microphone. Roman basically said something along the lines of, now the entire world will acknowledge him. But then the music of John Cena had came on. Cena's right there. Just as we remember him last. He's got the full set of hair, though. He's got that full set of hair still, right? He comes in there, doesn't say anything to Roman. He's just showboating, playing to the crowd and everything. Crowd is loving it. They are loving it. They're giving him a great ovation. Probably the biggest pop of the night. Seriously, probably the biggest pop of the night. Cena gets in Reigns' face. Reigns is looking at his championship. He's looking at Cena like, you want a piece of this? And Cena, does a little curtsy. He comes closer to him. Pretty much ends it with the you can't see me hand gesture. And the pay-per-view goes off just like that. That's the way it goes off. So, you know what? All right. Cena's back. We heard the rumblings. It's kind of looking as though, yeah, it's probably going to be Cena and, we heard about this, Cena, Reigns, like really? Like, You know, it's interesting too because I remember right before the Cena spot had went down, something I had pitched was, well, why not maybe a novelty match? Why not maybe Goldberg and Cena? You know, but then it's kind of like, well, what do you do there with Roman Reigns? Who do you have Roman Reigns defend that title against at SummerSlam? If you're going to do a novelty match at SummerSlam of Cena and Goldberg, it's like, well, okay. But then you're like, well, what about Lesnar and Roman Reigns? And it's kind of like, yeah, we already seen that though. It's like, well, try telling that to WWE. Okay, well, what would you recommend? Well, what about Lashley and Brock Lesnar? Yeah. MMA fans such as myself have been wanting to see that for years. But it doesn't look like we're going to be getting that. Or maybe we will. What did I say earlier? I'll say it again. In regards to the Goldberg rumors, look, everybody, just have some water. That's good. Relax. Let's watch Monday Night Raw first, and let's see what happens. Hopefully, we can have Goldberg be as far away from the WWE champions as possible going into SummerSlam, and we can have him in a novelty match. If not, we know Goldberg is temporary, right? But again, let's go to Monday. Let's see what happens first. So, Money in the Bank, 1 to 10, factoring in the technical difficulties, all of that. Let me look at this match card. Let me look at this match card for you guys here. So, including the pre-show match, 7 matches total. I'm going to go with, again, favorite matches. Favorite matches, I'm going to go with Charlotte, Ripley. I'm definitely going to go with Usos, Mysterios. Man, that sounds like an interesting box of cereal, don't it? Usos, Mysterios. Or it's like some new joint of ramen noodles or something. Usos, Mysterios. My number 3. My number 3 is going to be... My number 3 is going to be the men's Money in the Bank. Honorable mention, I will give to the Raw Tag Team titles. My least favorite matches: Roman Reigns, Edge. If you ask me how that could have been squashed a bit, trim the fat. Did you really need to go 33 minutes long? No, you did not. If you would have trimmed that by, honestly, 10 minutes, almost damn near 15, I think that would have sufficed. If you would have just stayed at a 20, maybe 22 minutes, I think that would have been just fine. I think that's a large part. And then just the pacing, the storytelling. I had a significant problem with that as well. And then as far as least favorite, Lashley, Kofi, for the reasons I had mentioned earlier. Now, your guess is as good as mine, AH, about if Brock Lesnar is coming back. Just drink some water. Relax. Let's see how it pans out. You see the rumors that's out there? All it is right now is rumors. Until we actually see something play out before our very eyes, everything that's out there right now is just speculation and rumors. Right? What else we got here? Checking out some of the other comments that we had come in from you guys here. Why does Naomi get ignored in title shots? In getting title shots? Well, not for nothing, but let's not also forget there's been a few times within recent months Naomi has been off WWE televisions for whatever respected reasons. So, let's first look at that, right? not to mention, if I'm not mistaken, Naomi, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, Naomi does a lot for WWE behind the scenes. Definitely as far as all, media things, she does a lot for them. She does a lot of outreach community program stuff, going to the schools, boys and girls club. She does a lot of stuff outside for the WWE. Um, so, you got to also factor that in as well. If you wanted to be technical and you want to, if you're a trivia buff and you're kind of interested in knowing, when was the last time Naomi had a championship match there? Just win, lose, draw. When was the last time she had some type of a championship match opportunity? You got to rewind it back to March of this year when her and her tag partner Lana have faced Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax for the women's tag titles. So, let's remember, not for nothing, before a hot minute there, Lana and Naomi, they were a tag team. And, you guys may recall, I was on this show saying, okay, they are trying to figure out a little something to do here with Naomi, and Lana. It kind of seems like, all right, two peas in a pod. And they were making the best out of the situation. And I think I remember saying to you guys, the tag team, has potential compared to some of the other stuff that was going on. And sadly, once Lana pretty much got her exit papers, Naomi just pretty much floating around there, essentially by herself. It kind of fucking sucks, but it is what it is. Naomi's time will come. She's proven herself. So, whenever WWE feels, nah, you know what, we need to go in this direction instead, let's go here. They'll definitely go there. They'll definitely go there again. I would not be surprised if, and I'm going to actually make a bold prediction. I honestly feel that Naomi will be a women's champion, or just a tag champion. She will get some type of championship again before spring of 2022. I'm pretty confident in that. I can tell you that right now. Now, if that answer, doesn't suffice and you just really want to just home in on just, nah, man, women's championship. What's up with that? What's up with the women's championship? If I'm being honest, as long as Naomi is on the Raw side, I don't see, no. She has a better shot over on the SmackDown side as opposed to the Raw side, I personally feel. And Lord knows the SmackDown side needs all the help that they can get with their women's division and all that, or lack of. So, yeah, but on the Raw side, because that's the other thing you also got to look at too, is what's going on with these girls. Some of your favorite wrestlers, what show are they on? You got to look at it from that standpoint as well. Sure, we can go with the whole argument. I'm with you. 3-hour show and we can't figure out something better to do with this talent. Dudes, I'm right there with you. But it's obvious when you watch enough of these shows, okay, these are the people that they want to really have us invest in. But then there are some people that we look at, like Naomi. I'm a big Naomi fan as much as you. I look at her and I say, well, not for nothing, but as long as you have her on Raw, as far as a women's champion, maybe tag champion, but as far as a women's world champ, not on that show. Too much real estate. All these people coming back, nah, that ain't happening. Do SmackDown instead, better shot. Do SmackDown, do NXT, better shot. Hands down. Fucking hands down. Me personally, I would love to see a heel Bianca Belair work with a face Naomi. WrestleMania. Or just a major I would just love to see those two girls engage in a white hot feud. And I'll do one even better. I would ultimately like to see something come about where maybe even there's a mixed tag match, where basically Naomi and Jimmy Uso do something against Montez Ford and Bianca Belair. And man, that'd be kind of badass. Cause like I've always told you guys, Montez Ford, I'm very high on him. I can see him if he puts on a little bit more bulk. He doesn't have to get that swollen either. Just like get as big as Shelton Benjamin. If he can put on that kind of bulk, man. I mean, as it stands right now, he's good. He's got enough charisma and everything. They've scaled back on him quite a bit, but man, you could do some shit with him. Maybe like an Intercontinental Champion, a U.S. Champion, or something like that. Bianca Belair still running around with the women's title for SmackDown. Oh man, just imagine like near distant future. That would be pretty badass. Montez Ford, Bianca Belair feuding with Jimmy Uso and Naomi. Food for thought. Food for thought. Sound off. I want to know what you guys thought about the pay-per-view. Go on the YouTube's community section, youtube.com/the RCWR show. There's a poll that's up right now, and you guys can go vote. And for just a couple of minutes, if you guys want to call in, I will actually take a couple of calls right now, and you guys can let me know what you had thought about the pay-per-view. Let me just do one thing here, because it's been a good minute. I got to actually load up the app. That I use for the phone calls. Okay, so if you guys want to call into the show and sound off on the pay-per-view right now, you can do so. The number to call is 202 the show. Oh, wait a minute. Sound off on the Sorry about that. Why is that? Hang on. That's why. Hang on. Turn that off. Sorry about that, guys. Let's try that again. Now we're good. Okay, so if you guys want to call into the show and sound off about the pay-per-view real quick, you could do that. All I ask is that, if you're going to call in, just, think out carefully, what all you want to say. Try to be right to the point and all that. Be clear. Have fun, of course. 202-769-1364. Again, 202-769-1364. You want that one more time? 202-769-1364. If you guys want to call in and talk about the pay-per-view. And I'll actually put that in the chat for you guys right now. So for those of you that maybe don't have a pen, want to call into the show. And, all right, 832. 832. I saw somebody call from 832. Try calling back again. I was about to answer there. 832-217-72. Oh, sorry. I put your number in there. I'm trying to put my number in there. Go back. What the hell is going on here? No. I don't want to play that. It's trying to get me to play a game. It's like, I don't want to play that right now. Thank you, though. Let's see here. What was that phone number again? There we go. Let's see, 202-769-1364. There you go. So if you guys want to call into the show, there you go. The number's in there right now. I'll try to do my best to answer a little quicker for you guys there. So I saw somebody from an 832 area code. If you want to try to call in again, go ahead and call in. But yeah, so scale of 1 to 10, I would give the pay-per-view 7 out of 10. There we go. 832, you're live. Who's this?
My name is Steven.
Hey, Steven. Hey, all right, Steven. Hang on, Steven. Let me just turn you down a little bit.
My name is Steven Harris. I'm calling from Houston.
Hey. Steven, what's up, brother? How you been? Steven, you there? I hear you. You hear me?
Yeah, I can't.
Okay.
Oh, I want to talk to you about WWE Money in the Bank. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yo, I can hear you, Steve. Go ahead. You said I can hear you. Yeah, you said you wanted to talk about Money in the Bank. Go ahead.
With John.
Steven.
With John Cena, with John Cena returning, I think Roman Reigns. I think Roman Reigns ain't dropping that Universal title to him, and to ain't dropping that Reigns ain't dropping that Universal title to him until next year. Next year at WrestleMania.
I agree with that. And you know what? Steven, I would have no problem with that. If Roman were to go past John Cena at SummerSlam and he's not losing it until next year, I would have no problem with that whatsoever, because this is like for Roman Reigns right now with this title length. Because didn't they say tonight during the pay-per-view that he's on like day 322 or 23 of his title reign? So, you've made it up to this point, and it came at a time, let's not forget, Roman Reigns' title run, it came at a time. I actually still have the joint. I've shown you guys my studio before, but I actually got the joint where Roman Reigns first came back, the picture where WWE Shop was offering it, and where he first came back at SummerSlam, and then he went to that Payback pay-per-view and got the Universal Championship right there. I mean, he, like Drew McIntyre, went through a lot there during that pandemic. And now that you got the live fans that's back in attendance, I mean, this is like breathing second life into Roman Reigns' title reign. So yeah, Steven, if you wanted to take this, and I think WWE will, if you wanted to take this into WrestleMania next year, you can. The only question is, and I'll pose it to you, Steven, and everybody else in the chat, who do you see that's worthy enough to dethrone Roman Reigns?
I really think they just need to bring Karrion Kross to NXT to the main roster. He might be the guy who can beat him. And you can have or they can have Big E hold on to the money in a bank briefcase, and maybe he can cash it on to him. And if not,
I like that idea. I like that idea.
And he can hold it on to WrestleMania, though, if WWE decided not to go in that direction.
Okay. I could see that. Yeah, because if you're not gonna go with Lashley, and I mean, all signs right now seem to indicate Lashley and Big E. But if you weren't gonna go in that direction, and Big E just holds on to that title, then the question becomes, okay, what do you do with Lashley? Because now we're going into uncharted territory. We really could be going in the direction of Lashley and Goldberg at SummerSlam. But then after SummerSlam, if Lashley is going to be dropping that title, right, then it's like, unless you're going to go the Big E route, you kind of have the same problem yet again. Do you maybe go with Damian Priest? We still don't know what's going on.
I don't think Damian Priest is ready for that WWE Championship, because he has, ever since he got to the main roster, they had him do storylines with The Miz and John Morrison, and WWE ain't do anything else with him.
Mm-hmm. If we ever find out,
I think they should.
Go ahead.
They didn't do anything else with Damian Priest with these storylines. They just did something with him and Bad Bunny at WrestleMania, and then after that, they did not do anything else with him in the title picture run.
Mm-hmm. If we can,
and then so
I was going to say,
then so with Bob Ashley though, I really think he just needs to just go in and beat Bill Goldberg at SummerSlam and retain his title, and have Big E come out with the Money in the Bank briefcase and cash it in. Then let's set up a match with him at WWE Class Champion. So that's the way where WWE need to go in.
Okay. Steven giving you guys some food for thought right there. So let Steven know what you guys think about that idea. I love it. I love it personally, Steven.
Because they don't have anybody else is a babyface on Monday Night Raw to challenge Bob Ashley for that title, because we've seen Drew McIntyre get opportunity. He constantly coming up short. But Drew McIntyre fans are getting tired of him. So I'm glad he ain't winning the Money in the Bank briefcase. But Big E, that was my pick for the night.
Okay. I see you, Steve. We right there. So what was your high point or favorite point of tonight's pay-per-view, and your low point?
I had to give it a A+.
Okay. What was your most favorite match?
My favorite match with Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley for the Raw Women's Championship. And Rhea Ripley, she was WWE pushed Rhea Ripley hard down in NXT when she was down there in development, and they really booked her when she came to the main roster. She won at WrestleMania, and then they went back to the Thunderdome. There wasn't no fans, so they had her lose to the fans. Came back into the arena, so they put the bet on Charlotte. So now I guess we're gonna be see Rhea Ripley get her rematch on Monday Night Raw, or they want to wait to Becky Lynch come back. So I know the fans don't like Charlotte, but they seen her as the next Roman Reigns 2.0. So if they want to do a rematch, at some point I'm down for it, but I don't want to see the title go back to Rhea Ripley changing hands.
Okay. And what was your low point for the pay-per-view tonight?
I just give it a
I'm sorry.
I just give it a 6.
Your match. What was your least favorite match? I apologize. Yeah.
Rhea Ripley and Charlotte was the favorite match for the night for me. They done tore down the house. Mm-hmm. And then because you already know that Charlotte was going to win the WWE Raw Women's Champion, so it ain't no way they was going to let her take a loss.
Right.
To Rhea Ripley tonight.
Yeah. And what was your least favorite match?
My least favorite match?
Yeah.
Was the finish.
For the main event?
Saturday night. So, cause and then with Rhea Ripley, after she lost, so she should have just attacked Charlotte from behind that way and beat her down and weaken her with the steel chair. And that set up Nikki Cross, her music. She runs down the entrance with the briefcase and cashing in on her. But WWE, they ain't do that tonight. I guess they're going to be saving it to Monday Night Raw.
Most likely, yeah. But overall, you're giving the pay-per-view, did I hear you right? Did you say 6, or are you leaning towards a 7?
I just go for a 6 though, because I give overall though good crowd in attendance. They was hyping the match up. Mm. I mean, when the fans, we was in the Thunderdome, we didn't get that. We just couldn't hear. They wasn't feeding. We had the live audience. Who can feed the passion, the energy, the sweat and the tears. These superstars put their body on the line every week. We didn't have it, so I'm glad the fans are back in attendance in the arena because it's pandemic.
Yes. Very good words.
So if I don't come Monday Night Raw, I want to be checking it out Monday and see, because you don't know who is going to be popping up.
Exactly.
On Monday Night Raw.
Exactly.
But I know they just lazy with the storyline and the booking.
Yes.
But if Vince McMahon that should have kept Paul Heyman as an executive, they should have just let Aleister Black would have just got pushed in WWE. He would have been facing Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre, Cesaro. He would have been facing either Big E, everybody on that main roster. Had him go down to the big NXT and face Walter and Karrion Kross for the NXT championship. But Vince McMahon didn't know what to do with him. So look what he's doing over there in AEW. They're going to book him very well over there in AEW.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I'm looking, because with him and Cody Rhodes, and Aleister Black, he is going to destroy Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes is going to take time off the TV. And then Aleister Black, though, is going to get pushed better than WWE did.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. No doubt. Well, Steven, hey, I appreciate you calling in and sounding off on your thoughts about the pay-per-view tonight. It means a lot. I know you've been a long-time listener as well. I appreciate that support. And
I have, though. I've been following you for the past 6 years, ever since you started the RC show back in 2013.
No, 2011. 2011.
Oh, 2000.
Yeah,
my bad.
you started, but you started listening in 2013. That's dedication, my friend. I appreciate that loyalty. You have no idea.
All right.
No idea. Well, Steven, you enjoy the rest of the night, and thank you for continuing to support me and the shows. Okay.
All right.
All right. Have a good night, brother. Bye. All right, Steven Harris. Love Steven Harris, longtime listener since 2013. Appreciate that. If you guys want to call in, you want to do like Steven, you want to sound off about the pay-per-view, and you did see the pay-per-view tonight, take advantage of me right now. This is your opportunity. Steven had his moment. He had his opportunity. If you want to call in, go ahead. 202-769-1364. Again, 202-769-1364. You saw the pay-per-view tonight. You could definitely call in, sound off, and talk to me about the pay-per-view. Highs, lows. What would you give the overall rating of the pay-per-view? And while I'm looking and thinking about it here, let's look at that poll, because I'm curious where you guys are with regards to the poll here. All right, so right now I'm seeing that 82% of you are giving the pay-per-view a thumbs up. Meanwhile, 18% of you are giving it a thumbs down. I repeat, Money in the Bank. 82% of you are giving the pay-per-view a thumbs up. 18% of you are giving it a thumbs down. Did you vote? If you didn't vote, you disagree with those results you're hearing so far, make sure you cast your vote. Just go over to youtube.com/the RCWR show. Click on the communities tab, and you can sound off that way. I like what Jiren is saying in the chat. John Cena versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. The hype is real. Anthony, he's saying that the Uso Mysterio match for him was the very best match of the night. Montez, 1998 there, looks like via Twitch. He's saying Money in the Bank is a great show, but ruined by Nikki Cross winning Mrs. Money in the Bank. Very interesting comments right there. Do you guys agree with some of what you've been hearing so far? Do you think WWE got it wrong maybe there in some areas, like what Montez is bringing up? Is he wrong in his assessment about Nikki Cross winning Money in the Bank, that was the wrong way to go? Sound off, especially if you guys are going to be checking this out on demand. You can always just go on the YouTube channel, find this Money in the Bank post show, leave your comments, and definitely throughout social media as well. And I'll give you guys a couple of more minutes. You can call in. Don't be scared. I'm not going to bite you. All I ask is just you think you're thought out, and have fun. Just have fun. This is your moment, basically. And well, I'll buy you guys just a couple of more minutes, because otherwise we could definitely wrap it up. We all just did go through a long ass pay-per-view after all. Programming note, I'll be live Monday night, July 19th, 2021, after Raw goes off the air. So make sure you tune in. That should be, like what Steven was saying earlier, that should be a bona fide edition of Monday Night Raw, especially now that we're pretty much done with the Thunderdome. We got live fans back in the attendance again. That's going to be great. There's just no telling what surprises are going to be in store on the week to week with all of these different, cities, these first roundabout cities that's been announced of essentially WWE's homecoming, if you will. So, see here. Other than that, let me see here. I'm just checking things out here on social media. Just trying to see if there's anything breaking news wise in regards to the pay-per-view that maybe we need to give you guys a heads up about. Yeah, looks like everything's pretty quiet right now. I'll tell you one thing that's kind of cool here. I see that Michael Cole trended at one point as apparently his enthusiasm to John Cena. See, I didn't see that. By the time I got into the bedroom after hearing wifey say, wow, like Cena's back, by the time I got in there, I saw Cena running down the ramp and the volume was pretty low because she's actually trying to go to sleep because she's got work in a couple hours. So the fact that, I got to go back and check that out. So that's pretty badass. But I'm not seeing anything else WWE Money in the Bank wise. Nothing else that's earth shattering that we need to talk about. Yeah, nothing so far. So that's good. All right, y'all. So look, we had the phone lines opened up, but if you guys don't want to call in, again, not for nothing, long ass pay-per-view, right? So, and it's almost 2:00 in the morning. So I'm not tripping. There's always Monday night. So if you guys are a little bit tired, it's all good. But if you guys want, I'll definitely open up the phone lines again for you all. So you guys are going to be checking this out on demand. You made it up to this point. Make sure if you haven't done so already, go vote on those community polls. I want to know what you thought about tonight's Money in the Bank. And I want to know if you saw it, what you also thought about the Slammiversary pay-per-view event from Impact Wrestling. We got both of those polls that's on the YouTube community poll right now. And as you guys get ready to make your exit, if you haven't done so already, I ask kindly one more time, make sure you smash that like button when you do that. Really helps push our content out there more for folks to check out. Definitely helps YouTube as far as recommendations go, channel recommendations and all that. All right. And that is going to do it. All right. So once again, Money in the Bank, 7 out of 10. High point, Charlotte, Rhea Ripley. Low point, Kofi, Lashley. I got to throw in there the first half of the psychology there. In-ring psychology there for Edge and Roman Reigns. So take that for what it's worth. Should you check it out? I'm going to say yes, you should check it out. You should check it out from the standpoint of this is the major first WWE pay-per-view in front of fans. It was so easy to get invested into everything that was going on throughout the night and have different reactions accordingly. Wifey watched at least 90% of the pay-per-view with me because she was very excited to, see the fans back in attendance. And when I told her it was in Texas, because she's been to Texas many times over the years, she was like, wow. She's like, and they sold out, huh? I'm like, yeah, that's the other big piece of news. They sold that arena out. I mean, you had seats. I could not find any spaces. So if you were to tell me that arena where WWE was at, that they operated and were able to fill up that arena at maybe about a 60-70% capacity, they did a phenomenal job doing so because I saw nothing but asses in seats. They filled that bad boy up. So maybe when we get ready to go into Monday's show, hopefully I'll have it, the official number. Matter of fact, because I'm curious, right before we go off the air, let me see if I might be able to get it for you right now as far as how many fans were in attendance here. Bear with me a second here. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything right now because it was at the Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, Texas. I'm not seeing anything right now as far as what was the full attendance. It looks like they can fit for concerts, they can do about 14,000. For basketball events, they can do about 13,550. For family shows, hockey, they can do about a little over 12,000. If they're doing rodeo performances, they can do about almost 9,000 plus. So, it kind of makes you wonder exactly like, what were they able to do? But I'm not seeing any official numbers right now. Let me see. Let me see here. Money in the Bank 2021. Trying to see if I can find it for you guys real quick before we get ready to wrap it up here. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything right now, but it doesn't mean that the information isn't out there. I'll do some more investigating and I'll see if I might be able to find something. And if so, I'll share it with you guys on Monday's show. All right, I promise you guys. Meantime, get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. Those of you that's going to be waiting for the audio version of this, give me about 30 minutes, give or take, and I will clean up the audio version, have it ready to go wherever you get your podcasts. All right. And until next go around, I'm wishing all y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. Thank you so much. Those of you particularly live that checked out this post show, everybody, y'all know exactly who you are. I interacted with all y'all. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. If I did, please don't take it personal. Shout out to those of you that's going to be checking this out for on demand, YouTube, Twitch, where have you, and also wherever you get your podcast. Appreciate the support as always, y'all. Till Monday night's show after Raw, please be safe, be kind to one another. Peace out, y'all.